Hello again. Teenagers, Adolescentes, Teenagers by Ian Bond. Let us start with the definition of a teenager. A teenager is a young person whose age ends in teen, like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. However, in normal conversation, when people are talking about teenagers, complaining and criticising, this does not usually include the older years of 18 and 19. But everything is relative, and it depends on how the young person behaves and who is talking to them. We need to also mention that boy and girl teenagers are completely different animals. When you talk about teenagers, you will have a completely different image in your head depending if you're thinking about a boy or a girl. This is because their hormones are controlling their minds, and male and female hormones want different results. Quite simply, the big difference between teenage boys and girls is that boys want sex. They only want sex. They will jump on anything that moves. They are 100% controlled by their desire to have sex. They may pretend that they are interested in a girl, and they may laugh at all her jokes and give her compliments, but this is for only one reason, and this is to get sex. When a teenage boy is not getting sex, he is thinking about it, or watching porn, or dreaming about it in his sleep. The human male is most potent at 18 years old. A girl is usually more interested in trying to look and behave older. A young teenage girl is subconsciously trying to attract the older 18-year-old potent boy. This is why 13-year-old girls wear clothes and makeup which make them look older. They are also nest building. Look in a teenage girl's bedroom and you will see a future home with soft toys all over the bed representing babies, and hearts and sparkling diamonds representing love and the rewards of having a husband in her life. Horny teenage boys are not a big problem until they make a girl pregnant. Well, they are not a problem unless you are one of the parents. If you have a 16-year-old son, it is probable that you have not had a normal conversation of more than 3 words for maybe more than a year. For some reason, when boys are horny and looking for sex, they decide that their parents are the enemy. All parents want to ruin their fun and want to control all their movements. This is how a teenage boy perceives his parents. Similarly, a teenage girl with teddy bears on her bed and big posters of unicorns and pop idols on the walls is not a problem until she decides to go out of the house dressed like a hooker. Mothers are more relaxed about this side of things, but fathers know about all the horny boys in the street, and most common words you hear are, "You are not going out dressed like that." All fathers think that skirts are too short and tops are too small. All young kids want to be teenagers. All teenagers think that they are now adults. All adults wish teenagers would become adults as fast as possible. Being a teenager is fun, and it is also very scary. Boys fight with other boys to win the girls. Girls fight with girls to entertain us all on YouTube. By far the biggest problem is that all teenagers think they know everything and they are experts on every subject, and they are never wrong. And then we have the silences. a teenager can refuse to answer the same question for at least 2 days. They will shut down faster than Windows 10 if you ask them where they were or who they were with last night. Every teenager believes that their private life is completely private and will not share any private details with their parents. Parents are old, and parents don't understand all the problems a teenager has. This is what they think. However, the world is changing, and sport is changing our perception of teenagers because our sportsmen are younger and younger every year. We now have 17-year-old Formula One drivers. We have 15-year-olds competing in the Olympics, and big teams start training footballers at 12 years old to make sure they are ready to play for the first team when they are 16 or 17. We're all happy when teenagers win medals or races for our country. I'm lucky because I only see the good side of teenagers. Young people come to this house for classes and they mix with older students, and they're always polite and respectful. However, I have had some bad situations with teenagers over the years. I remember around 6 years ago there was a clothes shop in front of my house, and the owner was a really very nice lady. She asked me to teach her 14-year-old son, and I was happy to accept. When the boy arrived, he told me that he didn't want to learn English and that he only came to the class because his mum had organised it. After just 1 hour, he was lying down on the seat, ignoring me and telling me to stop talking. I sat in silence for 10 minutes and he didn't move. I tried talking nicely to him. I tried to be hard with him. I tried offering him soda and biscuits, but he ignored me and just refused to respond. Eventually, I went out of my house and walked across the road and said to the lady, "Can you come and take your son away, please? He is sleeping at the table and won't talk to me." She said, "Wait here," and ran across the road, leaving me in the shop. 2 minutes later, she appeared from my house, dragging the boy by his ear and made him stand in front of me. She insisted that he apologised to me. He was not happy. There is a scary side to teenagers as well, especially the boys. Most old people will tell you that they are nervous walking through a large group of teenage boys in the street. In Spain, they introduced a law which allows the police to tell groups to disperse and to go in different directions. If they do not obey this instruction, then they can arrest them for being a public nuisance and disobedience. This has made life easier for nervous, older citizens. Before coming to Colombia, I didn't have much contact with teenage girls because all of my friends were too young and they only had babies or young children. I met more teenage girls being a teacher here, so maybe I don't know too much. I have an older sister, but I don't remember her living in my house because she left when I was 5 years old. My big surprise here was discovering all about these big birthday parties for 15-year-old girls. I understand this is a tradition, but I don't understand is why do you do it? Why do you celebrate that a girl reaches 15 years old? She is still a minor, so she cannot be a wife or work or leave home. Is this because the girl has become a woman? Is it about sexual maturity? And of course, I want to know why the boys don't have this celebration. The first time I was invited to a 15-year-old's party, I was surprised because I didn't know the girl. I was invited by her brother, and at first I was honoured. Then I spoke to another friend about what sort of gift I should take to a 15-year-old girl. And when he said I should just take money, I was horrified. I asked more questions and discovered that some girls receive motorbikes and all kinds of expensive items. And I just think it's unbelievable and unfair to boys. So obviously I'm missing something. Hopefully someone someday will explain it to me. Teenagers don't have life so easy. We expect them to make decisions which will affect them for the rest of their lives. When I was 16, I was asked what subjects I wanted to study as preparation for university. My mother told me from when I was a small boy that I was going to be a chartered surveyor. So I repeated this to as many people as possible with no idea what I was talking about. I'm going to confess that 2 minutes ago I decided to see what a chartered surveyor does. And I discovered that in Spanish this is a perito. This is like a technician for construction or something like that. In the end, I chose mathematics, geography and physics. These were the 3 subjects which would determine my working life until I retired at 65 years old. I chose those subjects because I liked the teachers. What I wanted to do was to become an actor and to make people laugh. But my oldest brother was an actor and he wasn't working, so he ruined my acting career before it started. I studied those 3 subjects for only 3 months. I am the worst student on the planet. When I was 16 years and 364 days old, I decided to leave school. I was so bored with the blah 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 of the teachers' voices. I had a holiday the next day on my 17th birthday. 1 day's holiday. And then I started work the next day. I think teenagers are only a problem when they are together or when they are near their parents and brothers and sisters. I enjoyed working with adults and I was good at my job. After 6 months I was promoted and I was given a car by my company before I was 18. My parents were more surprised by this than I was. So, be patient with teenagers. Remember that we all went through this period of life and we all survived to become wonderful, mature adults. And we never make mistakes and never do anything stupid, do we? We are perfect examples of how all humans should act and behave. Yeah, that's right. Bye-bye. Next time. See you again soon.